In sales, the perfect pitch is comprised of 12 different points that are all key to making sure that the prospect goes from an interested person to a complete buyer, giving you their credit card number and signing up. And missing just one of these points could completely cost you the sale and make you have to chase this person for days, weeks, months, and ultimately never getting the sale done. If you're new here, my name is samimeibar, and over the past 4 years, I've built sales teams that have generated well over $40 million in revenue. And so I've started documenting all the success and all the teachings that I've given all the sales teams that I've built so that you guys can benefit as well. The very first thing is that a phenomenal discovery is imperative to a phenomenal pitch. Meaning you can't just get on a call and just immediately start selling the person. What ends up happening is you just pitch a very generic pitch. You tell them all the cool features and benefits about your company, about your product, and they say, cool, thank you, this could have been an email, and then they leave. Whether you're selling against the status quo or whether you're trying to figure out the gap where the pain points are and where the goals are, you need to be able to sell to that. More importantly, you need to show them that you understand where they're at and where they're trying to get to, because people don't buy because they like what they hear, they buy because they feel heard. And so as cheesy as this may sound, if you have a bad discovery, if you don't uncover the pain points or the goals or truly understand the perspective of the person, what they've tried so far, why is it important for them to get done now, how to handle all the objections before the pitch, when you show up to the pitch, you're going to fall flat. The second part is true understanding of the gap, meaning you need to be able to reiterate their words back to them. The reason why we do a good discovery, and I'm moving this into point 2, is because what they're looking for is for someone to say, hey, is this your problem? And you've taken down the notes and you've reiterated back to them in a way that they can understand. When someone shows up to a sales call, they're showing up with a deck of messy cards. They have their cards everywhere, they just dropped them. And what they're looking for, really what they need, is for you as a salesperson to ask the right questions, pick up their cards and organize them. Ace to king diamonds, queens, hearts, clubs, and then turn around and say, are these your cards? And at that point they go, yep, those are exactly my cards. How did you know? In the same way where sometimes you're telling them, hey, it sounds like X, Y, and Z, and they say, yeah, that's exactly right. And you know, you've told me this. This is how I know this information. So it's not like a hidden magic trick. You're just good at listening. Number 3, you need to be able to shift their mindset. Meaning you need to be able to give them that light bulb, that eureka moment, a teaching of something that they don't even know about themselves or they don't even know about their own business. Now, what do I mean by this? You need to be able to challenge the way they think to go into a different level. Because if you think about it, this person has shown up to this call and their lives are pretty much at a standard day-to-day routine. And if it's not their lives, it's that their business is at this day-to-day routine. So what ends up happening is kind of like Groundhog Day. They just wake up and do the exact same things, and they need someone to kind of snap their fingers and bring them to a brand new way of thinking so they can elevate themselves. What separates the average person from a 10 out of 10 person is that the average person delays decision. And your job here is to help them, guide them through this process so they don't delay decision and actually make a change today versus dragging their feet. Number 4, and bear with me on this, it needs to sound sexy. Now, I'll give you the best example that's going to help you understand this. If you're familiar with the keto diet and it came out, they basically said, hey, cut out carbs and focus on fats. And if you remember like 5-10 years ago, grocery stores everywhere was keto diet. Every Instagram influencer had the keto diet boss or whatever. Everyone was focused on the keto diet. And at the time, it was brand new, it was sexy, it was exciting, and everyone jumped on that bandwagon. Now, what people don't realize that 20 years before that, the keto diet existed. It was called the Atkins diet. But rather than reviving the same diet with the same words, with the same everything, with the same branding, they just called it something different. And so when you sexy something like that up and you make it sound different and you make it sound exciting, people always automatically go, I haven't heard that before. This is a new way of thinking. This is a new thing that I've never done. I'm going to try this new method. I guarantee you, watching this now, in the next 5 years, keto is going to come back with a brand new name, brand new marketing, and it's going to have the exact same effect. So start breaking down the components of your offer, the way you deliver your products. And rather than say, oh, you need to meditate for 10 minutes a day, you need to find a way to make that sound sexier. So instead of meditating, it would be the monk-like breath work. I'm just making terrible examples up, but you need to find something that sounds exciting. And instead of saying, hey, you need to work on the offer of your business, you can tell people you need to work on the packaging, the bow that you're handing to your clients, some way to make it sound different so they say, I've never thought of this part of my business before or my life. Once you make it sound sexy, you need to tailor it to them. Because, and here's the biggest problem, a lot of salespeople, when they go through the pitch, they take a deep breath in and they, like Busta Rhymes, just keep going with da-da-da-da-da-da, and they're just spitting out as much as they possibly can as fast as they can. And what's great about this is it just shows weak salesmanship. Because if that was the case, why wouldn't we just record a video of the pitch and just send it to every single person. Why do we even have a person on the sales call? The reason being is because we're not here to go ahead and just give them a run-of-the-mill pitch. We're here to tie it to their interest. So if you're speaking to a founder of a business and he's about to hit $20 million this year, but the reason why he wants to work with you is because he wants to learn how to slow down and enjoy life and just be a better person for himself and his family. If you turn around and say, oh, working with us will get you from 20 to 30 to even 40 million, you've missed the mark. That's not what he cares about. He just got done telling you that family and slowing down and enjoying life was what he was focused about. And if you go off the wrong thing, you're not tailoring this to him, you're focusing on the wrong thing. So instead, at this point when you're pitching, you say, hey, and remember when you said you wanted to slow down and spend more time with your family and your kids? That's exactly why we do X, Y, Z. Because the last thing we want you to do is blah, 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 and take more time away. And look, money's great, but really the most important thing is what we have with our family. Now, this is a tailored pitch. This person says, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This is what I need. Now, I need to make this very clear. You're not making up stuff that you're not actually going to deliver on. This has to be all things you deliver on. You just give them and present to them the things that they care about the most, and that's how you tailor it. Hey, remember when you mentioned this? That's why we do this. The sixth one is that it needs to be concise. And what do I mean by this? In sales, you always see that if you're looking at a Zoom call, for example, and I've done this time and time again, the part of the pitch can sometimes be a 20-minute pitch where it's just one person talking for 20 minutes. And what ends up happening is you're giving out all this information, and sometimes you kind of die in the details. If you give them too many details, too many things, you may say one wrong thing that'll trigger their mind and make them go, well, actually, I don't know if I like using Slack. I actually prefer Telegram. You're like, that's not the focus. Like, let's focus on the main solution here. So you actually want to actually shorten your pitch. You don't want to have a very, very long pitch. The longer it is, the more likely there is to lose their attention and for them to start poking holes at it. You need it to be clean and concise. I like to call this the mic drop pitch. It needs to feel so small, so short, so tailored to what they want. I'm talking within like a 5-minute, maybe 7-minute window where it feels like this is what you're going to get. This is how we're going to solve your problem. Mic drop, and they feel like, wow, this is the solution I've been looking for. If you go back and review your sales calls and you see that you're going way beyond 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you're doing something completely wrong, I urge you to see what parts you can take out, because there's going to be a lot of filler in there, and how you can keep it very, very selective and tailored to them. Number 7 is in 2 parts. The first part is don't tell them what you can show them. A lot of people go ahead and just start talking, and they kind of go into so much depth instead of just showing them. And when I say show them, they need to be able to live it and breathe it. You need to be able to paint the picture for them to help them future pace what success is going to look like, what it's going to feel like, how they're going to show up to life, how they're going to show up to the world, how they're going to show up in their business, in their marriage, with their kids. You need to help them paint that picture, because again, they're so close to the problem. They're looking at it like this. It's that Groundhog Day. You need to help them get out of that phase and really see what's possible. The second part of this is focus on the destination, not the journey. Too many times I've seen people in the pitch go, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna jump on 7 calls a week, and we're gonna do this, and you're gonna have an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they just focus on all the mechanics of what happens versus, hey, in 6 months, this is the result we're gonna be working towards, and it's gonna feel amazing. The best way to describe this is, if you're trying to sell someone on the trip to Hawaii, you would never say, hey, so you're going to get on the plane. There's going to be, you have to show up at the airport 2 hours in advance. Then you're going to go through security. Security is kind of slow. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to get on the plane, terrible food, but we have seat belts to make sure that, the turbulence isn't going to mess with you. And the seats don't really recline that far. And it's just going to be, a rough ride. It's like a 7.5-hour flight. You're ruining the pitch. You're selling the wrong thing. So instead of selling the flight to Hawaii, say, hey, imagine the day you land, the first thing you do is you're feeding your toes in the sand while the water is hitting your feet, and you can feel the warmth of the sun on your face, and it's exciting. Now again, we're not selling BS, we're telling them exactly what we're working towards, and we know we're gonna be able to deliver on this. But don't sell the uncomfortable plane ride, sell their feet in the sand. Number 8, and this is gonna sound counterintuitive, is it needs to be delivered slowly with calm tonality. This is YouTube, so I'm trying to speak fast, but you need to slow down the sale to speed up the sale. Meaning, your tonality shifts, it slows down. You go ahead and have a conversation with them and really help them build what's possible, where they're at, not from a place of panic or rushing or freaking out, but from a place of calm certainty. I want to make sure that's clear. Tonality and certainty and calm, where you're telling them, hey, here's what's going to happen. Because the pitch that wins is the one that has the most certainty behind the voice. And a fast, panicky voice isn't certain about their delivery. In fact, most people, when they're trying to speed through it, they're hoping the person just listens to it and signs up. I like to slow it down. I want the person to be able to really, truly feel it, and then I can gauge where they're at. Number 9 is we need to have tie downs and temp checks along the way while we're pitching. We don't want to lose the person and then they're just looking around, scrolling through social media, just bored out of their mind, like texting other people. We want to make sure that this is clicking. And the way we do this is with a temperature check and a tie down. Temperature checks and tie downs sound like this. Feeling good about this so far? Awesome. Any questions about this specifically before I move on to the next one? Do you see how this specifically is going to help you? Ready to move on to the next one? What we're doing here is stacking 1, 2, or even sometimes 3 questions to make sure that this is sitting with them. Because if you start to notice hesitations and if you say, hey, how are you feeling about all this so far? And they say, it's okay. We don't continue with the pitch. This is where we have to pause and handle what's on their mind right now, because if we steamroll through this, we've missed an important objection here. Makes sense? Any questions so far? Do you feel good about this? Do you see how this can help you? Do you understand how this is going to be the thing that's going to change with this part of your business like you asked? Ready to move on to the next one? Number 10 is that you drop the price only after you have confirmation that they feel good. A lot of people steamroll through it and then drop the price and hope that it just gets blurred in somewhere, yeah, 15,000, 20,000, blah, 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 and they just hope it just gets disappeared. You need to make sure everything is done cleanly and then there's no more questions. They feel good about it. They've told you that they feel good and this is the thing that they think is going to solve their problem and they want to move forward, and that's when you drop the price, not before. Because if they have an objection and you mention price and they already have another objection, now you're fighting 2 different objections. And when you're fighting 2 different objections, you're outnumbered. There's only one of you. And so you're not going to be able to handle both those things. So what you should do instead is, if they have, hey, I'd love to start this, but now isn't the right time, before you mention price, let's handle this right time situation. Let's figure this one out. Once we get them calibrated and back on track and they're like, hey, yeah, okay, cool, I'm good. This does make sense. This is the right time. Then we can say, feeling good about this? Awesome. Ready to work? Any questions before I go into the investment of how all this works? And then you drop the price. Number 11 is you need to give them clear steps of what happens once they sign up. Lay it out in a 5th grade level of English. You need to be able to say, awesome, so here's what's going to happen. Once you sign up, I'm going to go ahead and get you over to your onboarding call. The onboarding call is going to be amazing. We're going to work through X, Y, and Z. You're going to be speaking to Sarah. She's fantastic. She's great. We're going to send you out a form before your call. It's imperative that you go out and fill it and give us as much detail as you possibly can so that we can actually do our job and get you the best results possible. Once you jump on that call, we're going to give you access to everything and you're going to hit the ground running. Number 12 is the simple line, ready to get to work? Awesome. What email do you want me to send this to? They go ahead and give you the email. Great. And I'll take down that 16-digit card number whenever you're ready. We're basically moving the sale forward. We're assuming the sale and we're just going to go ahead and get it done so we can onboard them. So those are the 12 components of the perfect pitch. But if you want to go from average to expert, here's some bonus tips that I want to give you to make sure you completely crush it after the pitch. And the first part about it is you want to make sure that you start building rapport here. Most salespeople go, thanks for the money, cool, bye, out, hang up the Zoom call, and they go to the next call. This leaves the person sitting there thinking, well, was this a good idea? Was this a bad idea? Did I just get, what happened? Where instead, a lot of people think of, oh, I need to build rapport at the beginning of the call. I need to make sure they feel good about me at the beginning of the call. And rapport is important, but rapport is more important at the end of the call. When you've already gotten the money or they've gotten the sale, it's a good exchange because both parties are about to win. You've gotten the sale for the company or for yourself, and they're about to get the service that they need or the product that they need, and everyone's going to win here. You want to start building rapport here and being able to chat about their weekend plans or just something where you can build 1 or 2 more minutes of rapport. Now, the cherry on top of everything after you've done the pitch and after you've done this is this next key sentence. Awesome. And before I let you go, I just want to bring up 2 things. The first thing is you've just invested in one of the best resources out there. Please, please, please use this resource. I'm not kidding when I say we're in your corner from beginning to end. So if you need help, if you feel like you're kind of stuck somewhere, whatever it is, just raise your hand. We're here for you. We're here to help you out. The onboarding team is going to make sure you're going to crush it. So please, please, please make sure that you just raise your hand. Can you promise me that? And they're going to feel like, yeah, this person is telling me that what's going to happen and that I'm going to feel heard, so they just get more bought in. And then the second one that you want to do is, while you're about to wrap up the call, after you've mentioned, hey, just please use this resource, is lastly, have fun. I know that sounds cheesy, but what I want to show you is that all the clients that we worked with who absolutely crushed it have shown up 110% and they've had fun with the process. So I know you want to get the results and we're here for you from beginning to end, but if you're not having fun, what's the point? And I promise you, this leaves the call on a great tone, ready for your next call, them excited, smiling, and really happy that they just got sold, versus some of that weird, buyer's remorse situation that a lot of people end up having after a sale. Now, if you found this useful, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. But also, if your sales team or even you want your sales calls broken down, if you want to say, hey, I need help with my pitch, I need help with a certain part of my sales process, then click down below, fill out the application, and book a call, and either me or someone from my team will go ahead and jump on a call with you, and we're happy to break down the calls while we're able to do this, and just plug in, hey, here's a call that we had recently that we're kind of struggling with. We don't know why our pitch isn't sounding well, and we'll help you fix that and give you feedback based on what you send us. So click down below, fill out the form, schedule a call, and we'll get you taken care of.